Hey, welcome back to my new video. Today we'll be creating this very trendy video effect in After Effects. I have two footage here. Let me go ahead and select the first one and drag it inside the new composition. Alright, first things first, let's go ahead and track the motion of the hand. So if you pay a close attention to the hand gestures, you can see that my fingers are across the watch, which makes it a little bit difficult for us to track on the watch. So what I will do is I'm going to use Mocha for this, and I'm going to go and try to track my hand somewhere around here. Search for Mocha A, and I'm going to click on this Mocha, and that will open up the interface of Mocha. Scrub the timeline to the beginning of the frame, and let's select this spline tool, and I'm going to click, and I'm going to draw a spline somewhere around here. So once you are done with that, I can just select this, click on that, and Mocha will track the motion of my hand. So let me just see how the track goes. Alright, that's not an issue there. I think we just need the camera movement up until here, like the tracking information up until here. So once you are done with that tracking, you can just go ahead and save this and close Mocha. And what I'm going to do is create a new null object to store this tracking information of that track. Okay, so let me just rename this tracking info, and let's go ahead and go to Mocha tracking data. I'm going to create a tracking data and go here and select transform because we want the transform. So let's just select the layer export to tracking info, the null object that we have just created. Make sure you're at the beginning of the timeline and apply export. Right, so there you have the null object in place, right? So once you are done with that, let's just build the carousel here. So I'm going to create a new composition. I'm going to rename this video 1, and I'm going to hit OK. And what I'm going to do is select this rectangle tool and zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to draw a box, something like this. And I'm going to rename this mask. Go to rectangle and select this roundness and change it to 100 or maybe 150, depending on what you want, how round you want this to be. And I'm leaving this mask with no stroke, and I'm duplicate this and rename this stroke, and this time I'm gonna disable the fill, and I'm going to enable this stroke, white stroke, and you can increase or decrease the pixel depending on what you want. I'll stick with 5 pixel here, and let's set here. Yeah, that's fine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to import a footage now. So I'm just going to import a footage from the previous project that I did, which is this one. I think let's just take this one, and let's just take this 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right, I'm going to drag and drop it inside this. Maybe I just need 5 of this because the last one is going to be the footage number 2. So I'm going to delete 1 here. I need 5. So here is video 1. I'm going to drag and drop this video just below the mask, and I'm going to parent the track mat. If you don't find this track mat, you can just switch here, parent this to the mask, and you have the mask here. So but the problem is that it's just about 2 seconds. So what I'm going to do is loop this, right click, time, enable time remapping, hold down Alt and click on the stopwatch and just type in loop out. You can just select this loop out, right? Hit enter, and then you can just extend this to the end, till the end. So if you play it back now, it's gonna loop that forever, right? So that's how you can loop it. So go ahead and repeat the exact same steps for all the other video pre-comps, and I'll be right back after that. All right, I think we're done with that. Let's just close all this out, and let's go to footage 1, and I'm gonna control K on this composition, and I'm gonna rename this to main comp. Okay, so this is the main composition, and let's just create a new folder and rename this footage. The more you organize your project panel, the easier for you. So I think it's a good practice to make your project file, your project bin more organized, so that you can work a little bit faster, right? So pre-comps, pre-comps, right? What's that? Oh yeah, I'm gonna drag and drop these pre-comps inside these pre-comps, and this is the main comp. All right, that's cool. So let's go inside the pre-comp, and let me just drag and drop this video inside this one, and I'm gonna select, I'm gonna hit S on the keyboard. I'm gonna scale it down 50%, and I think we have one video which is not being masked. Let's just find that out. I don't need the audio. I think this video 5, yeah, this is not being masked out. Just select here, yeah. Let's go here, and we don't need the audio of this either. I think we still have another one, which is video number 3. We just have to mask this. All right, so I've scaled this video down to 50%, and I'm gonna create a new null object, and let me make all these layers, including the null object, a 3D layer. Select the null object, hit P, and I'm gonna offset the Z position 500 pixel. And what I'm gonna do here is, I have 6 video here, and I want to put these images in a circle. The radius of a circle is 360. So if I take out the calculator, let's just do the math here, right? So this is how I like to do the math. So 360 is the radius of a circle, and I want to place this 6 images, 6 videos in that 360 degree radius, right? So I'm going to divide that by 6. You got 60, right? So you have to offset the position, position by 60. But we're going to use the rotation to drive the position of this pre-comps. So it will make sense in a while. So let's just select this null. I'm going to hit R, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to offset this Y rotation, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to parent this to the null, and I am going to offset this rotation 60, because we found out that the calculation needs to be 60 degrees to place 6 images on that circle, right? So 60, that's nice. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to parent the second video to the null object, but this time I'm going to add another 60 here. 60, you can see that it's moving. So I'm going to select this number 3 again, select this to the null, and I'm going to add plus 60. I'm going to go on like this, and I'm gonna again plus 60, and number 5, parent this, and I'm gonna plus 60, and I think I just need to parent the last one like that. And if I rotate this now, you can see that it's rotating. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to start the animation here, right? So let's just, so before that we just need this video to move with the hand, right? So I'm gonna parent the null to the tracking information that we have just got before, and if you see now, it is moving with the hand, right? So that's very nice. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to do some animation for this. So let's just find a place where, right here, I'm gonna hit S, set a keyframe, set another keyframe here. So with between these keyframes, I need some animation. Maybe I'm gonna offset this a little bit. Go to the first keyframe. I'm gonna set this to 0. Select all the keyframes, F9 for easy ease. Go to the graph, and if you don't have a graph like this, you can check this edit speed graph. And nice, that's it. And I think I need to animate the rotation as well. I think we just need to animate the, yeah, some rotation. So I'm gonna set it orientation keyframe here and go here, and maybe I'm gonna offset the values of this a little bit. Yeah, something like that. F9 for easy ease. And let's just find the timing. Yeah, that's nice. So I think I need these video layers to be from here. So I'm gonna trim this, hold down Alt. Maybe I'm gonna move it here. Yeah, so I need some Y rotation. You can see that. I think we need to push this down a little bit, because we need it somewhere around here. Yeah, maybe a little bit here. Yeah, that's fine. So like that. And when my finger swipes across that here, yeah, I'm gonna set this to the next slide here. Select all the keyframes, F9. Make sure you have a smooth graph like this to have a smooth animation. Maybe that's too fast. Yep. And the next one is somewhere around here. Set a keyframe, and there, and I'm gonna slide it here, right? Let's just adjust the keyframe here. Should be smooth, and the timing has to be perfect. Look at that. That's too fast here. Okay. All right, so let's just take out the, let's just duplicate the footage, Control D, and I'm gonna rename this roto, because we have to roto out the hand. So let's just go forward a little bit, maybe somewhere here. Hold down Alt and the left square bracket, the begin square bracket, and let's just go and scrub the timeline, maybe up until here, right? So I'll just trim this here, Control Shift and D, and I'm gonna scrub again, and maybe somewhere around here. The fingers are on top. maybe somewhere here. You can see here. Hold down Alt and the left square bracket, and maybe, yeah, till there. I'm gonna hold down Alt and the right square bracket. So I'm gonna change the color to yellow so that we can know that these are roto layer. And we're gonna move this up here and turn off the layer for now. Let's create a scene here, the UI. So let's create a new composition. Say watch UI, right? I'm gonna set this to 800 by 800 pixel. Hit OK, and I'll just draw a rough line like this, and maybe go and roundness to 100, and rename this stroke, Control D, and I'm gonna move it down and fill. I'm gonna close this stroke, and I'm gonna enable the fill to this color. And what I'm gonna do is select the text tool and type in text, lower it down, select, right? So I'm gonna swap the colors here and align it to the center here, even smaller, something like this. And I'm gonna draw, select around the rectangle tool, and maybe I don't need a fill, I just need a white stroke, and you know, just select this and maybe roundness to even more, or maybe the size X and more. Control D, duplicate the text, move it up, and carousel. Right, maybe make it small. Maybe the select text should be small as well. Yep, something like this. So I'm gonna select the text, hit P on the keyboard, go to maybe around 1 second, and position, move few frames, and move it down. Select all the keyframes, F9, and easy ease, and go to this keyframe and make sure you parent the carousel to the select, not parent, it should be parent, right? So it will move it like this, turn on, right? That is nice. I think that's too much here, so we need some masking here. So this is the shape, and let's just duplicate this, rename this mask, and enable the fill, disable the stroke, and enable the fill to white. And you can just select this text and parent it to the mask layer. So yeah, this is the design. Maybe I'm gonna change the stroke to black and fill the stroke here to black, something like that, right? So let's leave this for now, and let's go into the main composition, and let's just drag in the watch UI here, and let's just go and select this to screen. I think the design is really bad here. Let's just go and change this to white, and the stroke to white as well, and maybe the fill to a little bit darker, something like this. Let's just see. Yeah, that's quite better. And maybe I'm gonna scale it down a touch, and I'm gonna make this a 3D, and I'm gonna parent this to the tracking information. because we want this to be moving with the watch, right? So once you see that, once I press that, I need the animation to start here, right? So hold on, not there yet. Press, yeah, so that's nice. And yeah, so we'll add an effect called CC lens, and what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna create this kind of bulging effect, something like this, and maybe I want it to come up here. Set a keyframe for the size, convergence, and center, and I'm gonna go for back somewhere here. I'm gonna go back somewhere here, and maybe I'm gonna move the center down, and I'm gonna scale it down to 100, and I think, yeah, I'll leave this convergence to -200. Select all the keyframes, F9, easy ease, let's just select this, easy ease, and yep. I think that is too swift. Let's just leave it like this. That's much better. And yeah, once you have that, I'm gonna select this keyframes, set a keyframe here. Yep. And it's gonna go back down to this. Control C and Control V to copy here. Yeah. Select that. That's how I want it, and I want to trim this off. Hold down Alt and right square bracket. So here, select, yep, that's really nice. So if you want, you can add glow. Yep, something like that. Make sure to turn on the motion blur for this. We need some rotoscoping of this. In fact, let's just do it right away, the rotoscoping. Let's select this roto, double click it, and I'm gonna paint it here. Let's just zoom in, hold down Alt and paint the unwanted areas. Hold down Alt to paint out the unwanted areas, right? So let's just paint this out real quick. We just need a tip of this finger. And once you are happy with this selection of the first frame, just go to the effects and controls, and you can just check this use motion blur, and I'm gonna increase the feather to 10 and shift edge to -25, and I'm gonna hit spacebar to track the mask. Yeah, that's done. Once you are done with that, hit freeze to lock that selection. And yeah, rotoscoping is just way, very simple. Just take time. You can see that right now you can have a very clean roto. And the same with this. Let's go ahead and click on this, and let's just go and select the finger. Hold down Alt to paint out the unwanted areas. Yep, that's nice. Go to the effects and controls, enable the motion blur and feather to 10 and shift edge to a -25, and I'm gonna hit space bar. That will track the mask. Alright, so once you are there, you can just close this and go to the main comp, and you can see that That's very, very nice. All right, let's move on to the next one, which is going to the last slide of this carousel, which is this one. Let's just select this, which is video number 4. And let's go to the footage, and let's just select this footage too and drag it inside the new composition, and that will create a new composition. Close this, close everything, and let's just drag and drop this footage to pre-comp just below the footage, the video 4 here. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to scale this up a touch, scale 105, and I'm going to parent this to video 4, change the color of this to red, and I'm going to move somewhere here, maybe somewhere here. I think we're going to use this 4 to mask out the footage too, right? Video 4, let's rename this mask, and let's just parent this to the video mask. Let's just see what we have here. I think we need to put this a 3D layer, make this a 3D layer, and here we go. And yeah, that's nice. So here right now we don't have the stroke, the white stroke anymore here. We're gonna duplicate this video 4 from here, Control D, and it's going to be renamed as video 4 stroke. I'm gonna go inside here and disable everything, just the stroke, and go back to the main comp. I'm gonna duplicate this mask, video mask here. Maybe I'm gonna change the color to green, both of this, and I'm gonna duplicate this, Control D, and turn this on, and hold down Alt and drag this video 4 stroke that we have just created on top of this. That will replace it, and you'll have a stroke outline like that, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new null object, and I'm going to rename this global scale, right? So I'm going to link this null, I'm going to make it 3D. I'm going to link this footage 1 to the global scale, and if I scale this, it will scale the footage. And I also want to link this null 2 to the global scale, and if I scale this, it will be linked to that, right? Let's just scrub through the timeline and find a spot where the hand is coming towards the camera, and it's grabbing the camera somewhere here, and from here I'll start scaling up. So I'm going to scale this global scale null object, set a keyframe here. I'm going to move few frames up until here, and I'm going to scale it up, and maybe I'm going to shift P on the keyboard, and maybe I might want to adjust the position as well. So let's just zoom out a touch, and maybe I'm going to scale it way up, and maybe adjust the position X and Y. Maybe that's too high again, something like this. Adjust the position somewhere here, right? So it's right now the scale is pretty good, but the problem is that the video inside this box should not be scaled along with this. So how do I do that? So let's just find out this footage, which is footage number 2, I believe. This is the footage. So right at this keyframe, I'm going to trim this footage, Control Shift and D, and I'm going to turn off the parent here. I'm going to set the parent to none, and if it starts to scale, it stays in that position, it's just going inside this, right? That is very, very nice, right? So yep, so the only thing we are left to do is we need to duplicate this Control D, and I'm going to rename this. So I'm gonna rename this hand roto, and maybe I'm gonna change this to yellow, and I like to put the roto layers on yellow color. That's just how I like to do things. You can just set whatever color you like for the layer, and I think I should not mask this to any layer, so none, right? So this is the roto layer, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to go and roto out the hand here. So select on this, roto brush tool, double click on this. Before that, make sure you are at the full resolution, double click and zoom out, and hold on Alt and select the unwanted areas. Select this. I think this is gonna be fine. Yep. Once you're happy with the selection on the first frame, go to this and enable motion blur, feather to 10 and add shift to a -30, and I'm gonna track the mask. So let's see how it goes. I think we just need it till there. Yeah, I'm gonna stop there and I'm gonna freeze it. All right, once you are done with that, just close this roto and let's just see. Right, see. So we have another layer here, roto layer, which is starting from here. We just need some more rotoscoping, right? Let's just start from here and Control Shift. I'm gonna duplicate this, Control D to duplicate it, and hold down Alt and the left square bracket and roto 1. Change this to yellow, and I don't need any mask, no matte, and select the roto brush tool, double click and just paint on the hand. Just click on this rough selection, and yep, I think this is a very good selection. Go and check this use motion blur, because we have some motion blur, 10 and a -30, and let's just hit play. So the reason why I did the roto in two layer is that because the footage is also split in two layers. The first layer is linked with the null object, and the second layer is without linking the null object, because we are scaling up the video and we don't want the video inside that frame to be scaled along with that background video. So that's the reason why I separated this roto layer into different layers, if it makes sense. Yeah. All right, so let's close this. I think I have to push this up here, right? And the second roto here above these layers, right? So that is how you create this kind of effect in After Effects. I hope you learned something new from this tutorial, and if you haven't checked out this video, you go check it out. This is Motion Designer, and I will see you in my next video. Take care.